want me to say? If you're not here, I'm not gonna be playing with anyone else probably.
Oh, so you're just gonna get off completely?
Off Discord.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh yeah.
Do you still think I'm pretty?
Yeah.
Good.
Never stopped.
Well, some men do stop thinking that way.
And those men are right. No.
Wow.
What?
So rude. I love you anyway.
Marvel too.
I'm gonna miss you.
I'm here.
I hate that I'm not gonna be able to see you tomorrow.
I know, it's gonna be wonderful. No. I'll enjoy that goddamn break.
Yep, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I'm still smiling at the camera, although it's in my stream, not on Discord.
I painted my nails.
I should paint mine again sometime.
Look what you're watching.
That toilet. The toilet, where's a toilet flushing down a snowman?
Dude, what's that green stuff?
Some sort of foam.
You're just watching Twin. I am so in love with you.
Yeah, and you're always worried about me getting hooked up with some other hoochie.
You're just watching toilets sucking down
Yeah,
a snowman.
that's what I'm saying. And you're always so worried about me. What's he doing? Who's he talking to?
Oh my goodness.
That's why I really can't. When people ask like what I watch or what I do, I'm like, I just watch stuff on YouTube.
Oh my god. There goes the snowman.
And then flush the toilet.
Ooh, cleaning a 767 toilet.
Yeah, that's an airplane. A Boeing 767.
And that's how you clean the toilet.
Yeah, so just ice, water, and vinegar.
Crushed ice.
Say that again?
He said ice, water, and vinegar. I think he said
The last part?
3 scoops
vinegar.
or so.
Yeah?
Yeah,
They really slowly.
vinegar.
Little. And you take some acetic acid,
Acetic acid.
vinegar,
Vinegar. Yeah, that's what acetic acid
pour
is.
a few ounces of vinegar on it,
No water?
and then flush the toilet.
Hi everyone, I've been wanting to make this video for a while.
So weird seeing me from someone else's perspective.
I'm going to use a Ruger Mark IV with an intervally suppressed upper and put white lithium grease between the baffle. The range, I'm going to go.
Ooh, it's the quietest.
Why
He's
not?
so gentle with it. I love how he just caresses it. So gentle.
With the gun?
Yeah.
Yeah, the gun is the same sound as like those staple handguns, like the silver ones you can
Yeah.
press your whole hand with. Yeah, it's about as loud as that.
Hi everyone, I just want to give one final thought on this video. As you saw, I did everything I could to make this as quiet.
Oh, then this dude, Jaeger. Yeah, an APC. There's still that one PCC I want to get. XR EP9. Yeah, it's like a $500 9mm PCC. I still want to get one of these one day.
Well, even when I backed up, as well as the magazine release. I've got a couple more here. Let's go ahead and take a few more shots. But it was raised to $30. Comes standard with this SB brace. It's called an SOB brace. Works just fine. The owner changed out this grip.
Yep, $450 in stock.
Okay, do that because it does have
EP9.
AR-like controls. Here's the thumb safety, the bolt
Like
release.
$450 and it's in stock, like you can buy it, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, get one.
I don't want $450.
Oh.
I want one though.
Credit card. Use a credit card.
Oh.
It does not come with this angled foregrip, but it does come with a rail that allows you to put an angled foregrip right here. That is a good touch, especially with that hand stop being such.
Only one per order. Can't buy like 500 of them.
No, because they probably got to find out why you need 500.
I want to give them to an army of orphans.
I'll say something similar. I was gonna say I work for Make-A-Wish Foundation. I'm handing out PCCs.
Make-A-Wish Foundation for mentally ill teenagers.
That's one of those.
There's a fish in that shoe.
Faking Tourette's. I looked up fake piercing cringe, and all I'm finding is fake disorder cringe on TikTok. 'Cause I saw the piercing thing, the truth about septum piercings. The whole truth was like, is there a fake piercing thing? DIY at home. 28 creative girly DIY hacks. Fake piercings. Now here goes a paperclip. The stupid shit.
Boobs. I love how they just zoomed in on the boobs.
How else are you gonna get people to watch this dumb shit?
I used paper clips in middle school to make fake lip rings.
Oh yeah, you was baller.
Yeah. Oh god, that septum looks.
Why?
That septum looks so bad.
What if you see the next one? That is so retarded. The next one. It's not a piercing though. I don't know why they labeled this in a piercing video. Unless it's just a title, but it's like all different DIY girly hacks. But no.
Oh my god, imagine that breaking and you swallow all of that.
Yeah, fake braces. Oh, hey, she's a cutie.
Yeah.
My hand itches so bad right now.
Oh, that tongue.
Okay, that one sounds so retarded. The fake freckles.
Yeah, but just get them tattooed on. You could tattoo fake freckles. That nose ring. That looks. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Hey, what's she doing with her hair now?
I kind of nail polish thing wasn't that retarded.
I kind of like the hair thing.
Yeah, the hair thing and the next one's not bad too, the nail polish.
Yeah.
I'm already starting to get bored. It's supposed to be piercings. It's not all piercings.
Oh no, her hair's getting trapped. Oh no, it got cut. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Someone's smacking her tits.
hell yeah. I'm going to get my ice cream.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
Okay.
I love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye bye.
I'm excited for this one. This is Wii Sports, but this is Wii Sports modded. So there's options for different mods in each sport, but today we're playing baseball, and I have the harder than Sakura mod turned on, and I'm not sure. I have no idea who that is. We're gonna play as Beef Boss, per usual. Be sure to watch Matt, a Wii Sports story. Okay, Vanessa. Don't know who Vanessa is, but we're playing in a thunderstorm. I'm not sure what the background's doing. No, why did they have to put Pony? Well, this is ominous, and Matt's on their team. I don't know who. Well, there's a few people I recognize. Okay, well, there is no stadium or anything. We just gotta. Oh, that's not a very good hit. Oh. F. I agree. I'm not sure what the ball did there. Like, homing missile to them. Okay, why? She keeps on throwing it at me, and they're not very fast. I wouldn't say these are very tough pitches right now. I just suck. Like, that's up. Oh, never mind. She caught that. What? Oh, shit. That should have been a home run. They better not catch that one. No, thank God. I don't know what their limits are if she caught that other one. Matt snagged Italy. Matt snagged that one as well. Not sure what Italy did to be involved in this. Alright. I just threw a 212 mile per hour fastball that she hit. Alright. Well, she swung at a splitter. Well, fuck, if I can throw balls at 200 miles per hour. Oh, that's slow. Alright. It's either 64 or 200. Well, my team seems to be better than Sakura as well, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We caught that, though. Shouldn't that be out? I'm not sure how this is going to be hard for me. It's just going to be a 0-0 game. And they caught it. Big shocker there. Wow. First baseman Luca managed to snag that over there. Is the outfielder floating in the air? Nice glove, Matt. That was very seamless. I'm throwing absolute missiles here, and they're managing to hit it. I don't know what it matters. They're just going to catch everything. My outfielders are basemen. Here, Matt. I don't know why the catcher's glove had to go behind Matt's ass. Why are you doing that, catcher? Wow, Matt didn't even swing at 364-mile-per-hour fastballs. Oh, fuck! What, they still got? I thought it fell out of his glove. It looked like it fell out of his glove. I thought I actually... No, the glove just flies with the ball after they catch it. Man, we are done really fast. We catch this, right? Where is that going? Look at my team. Oh, well, they caught it. Nope, my catcher's still getting back. Oh, no. Oh! We actually gave up a run! Leave it to my team. Not a run, a base. Man, I am at the club right now with this music. Did we really fucking buff it again? No. That's the game. We fucking tied. Who would have thought that would be the outcome? Considering we catch everything. And here's the state.
Have you ever looked at a speedrun and went, "That's too fast. I like speedruns, but I hate that I can't waste an entire day just watching one"? Well, your really odd and specific problem may have a solution. By digging through the most hidden and questionable parts of speedrun.com, I have scraped together the longest speedruns of all time. So in my shortest speedrun video, I had to set some kind of definition for short, and obviously here, I now need to do that, but for long. A long speedrun can vary for a lot of people, and some people may regularly run games that take at least a couple hours, but to people who mainly run categories under 10 minutes, playing for an hour could seem like an eternity. For simplicity's sake, I have taken two types of runs. One, which are getting into the pretty long territory, and two, which push the extremes of the word long and span all the way up in the hundreds of hours. Before anyone whines, these may not be the top longest runs of all time, but are the bunch that I found the most interesting to talk about for today. Let's go the opposite way from last time, and climb our way up from the shortest run I have, which starts us off with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I feel like I'll get 100,000 comments if I don't at least mention this game, so... wait, maybe I should skip over this so people will comment. First, there's Digimon World 2 on PlayStation with the any percent record clocking in at 16 hours and 59 minutes. Running this kind of game is not for the faint of heart, and it's not just because of the length. It's because of how brutal the RNG is in every aspect of the game. This is a dungeon crawler RPG released towards the end of the PlayStation's life, and while casually randomness may not matter, in speedruns though, oh boy it does. Princess Rescuer on speedrun.com wrote up a really great thread about why this game is quite a nightmare to run. Pretty much everything you can think of in this game is unpredictable. Floor positions, trying to capture a Digimon even being where you want it, items you shoot at Digimon, and even getting a Digimon to join you. On top of the RNG, the game has questionable mechanics that are pretty unforgiving at times. One example is the status effect of being confused. If you get confused, your Digimon will always hit themselves or an ally. Another stressful factor is how many special items you need in order to get past barriers that block you from moving forward. There really isn't any warning if you're close to approaching one, and on top of that, your inventory is very limited, so you may have to worry about what you're already carrying. To add on to that, every attack animation in the game is painfully long. This quickly gets infuriating when you get back-to-back 3-on-3 matchups. On top of everything else that may already drain you, this game requires a serious amount of grinding. You'll be doing plenty of dragged out battling in order to level up your Digimon. To make it even worse, Digimon can't gain more than 1 level per battle, even if they have enough XP to do. The second game we got is Pokemon Channel, a GameCube title that some probably wouldn't call a proper game. I guess if you had to categorize this, you'd call it an adventure simulation. It's like trying to describe doing taxes as an exciting math adventure. No matter how you sell it, it's not going to make any sense. The entire setting of this game is one room in a house with a few outdoor areas. Most of your time though will be spent TV channel surfing on a network developed by Professor Oak. I guess Pokemon also have to worry about Big Brother as well. Getting the speedruns, there's 2 categories, any percent and 100%. For today's purpose, we will of course dive into 100%. This requires collecting pretty much every little thing you can get in the game. There are 330 total nice cards, which are collected from either having Pikachu speak to other Pokemon, or by ordering them from Shop and Squirtle. You also need to collect a 4-leaf clover, which is very rare, but once you collect one, you don't have to worry about it moving forward. Lastly, like stated before, you need to collect one of every inventory item, including ones the game does not keep count of, such as wallpapers or picture frames. Hairstrike was the first person to do this in one session, with a time of 20 hours and 14 minutes. Before this run, he made a 24-page guide that goes step by step on what to do throughout the run. You'll see also that Hairstrike on his layout is using a checklist program to keep track of every collectible needed throughout the run. While it's not required, it's not a bad idea considering how many items you need to collect over an entire day's worth of gaming. One of the most critical things to note here is the game uses the built-in clock on the GameCube to simulate proper days in the game, which last around as long as a day in real time. Looking at this guide, you'll see that the game time is constantly changed in order to get to the next day in-game. Imagine if you had to properly wait the full day before being able to do anything new. 2 other runners have taken the record in this category over time, with Pants getting a 19-hour 43-minute in April of 2018, but in August, Carpal Tunnel of Love has what is still the current record at 18 hours and 41 minutes, which for some reason seems to have no surviving footage, at least from what I could find. Maybe Professor Oak got upset at how quickly someone got out of his surveillance state. I'd watch out if you decide to play this game. Our third hit for today is Final Fantasy X. Now, I'm not going to be one of those people to instantly pretend that they've played every single series, because I'll be honest, I have not played an ounce of Final Fantasy, but it's definitely something I'd like to try once I don't have 50 other things to do. Anyways, a majority of the Final Fantasy leaderboards you'll notice are divided by platform due to how many of the games having re-releases or simply being cross-platform. The longest category for Final Fantasy X is Nemesis percent, with the longest record being on the PlayStation 2, clocking in at 19 hours, 46 minutes, and 15 seconds. Like some other runs today, any interested players once again are lucky enough to have a couple of guides that vary depending on which version of the game you're playing on. So what is Nemesis percent? Well, you can kind of view it like an extended variant of the Any percent category, which when comparing for the PS2 version, clocks in at around 10 hours. Nemesis percent requires you to defeat the Nemesis super boss, which I guess is why whoever started this category did the ugliest speedrun naming cliche ever and slapped a percent sign to the end of something that isn't a percentage. Personal rants aside, a decent amount of people have sank into this, with there being 12 different runners, spanning up to 33 hours. Who needs sleep? Just be glad it's not a true 100%, which would require grabbing a platinum trophy, which can only be obtained after collecting every other trophy in the game. I saw a speedrun.com thread discuss this, and a moderator said it would reasonably take 35 hours. Coming from a moderator, I imagine that estimate would be for an already decent player, so it could take even longer. I'll pass, cause I don't even have enough time to play the game as is. Next, let's skip over to Undertale, which, has quite a lot of speedrun categories. For today's sake, though, we will instead be focusing on the category extensions leaderboard with a category labeled True 100%. This requires completing 93 endings, which entails getting all yellow credits, all items, beating every boss, and quite a bit more. Yes, I did say 93 endings. Anyone familiar with the game may be confused at first and start spamming comments that will go into my spam tab about how there aren't 93 endings in Undertale. So, what's an ending here? Well, a Reddit thread was posted breaking down every unique path you can get in the game, which breaks these down as far as slight text variations that happen based on who you spare or kill. And what was that? You wanted me to say the word guide again? Well, good news. This category has a solid 10-page guide listing every ending with brief instructions, as well as a list with every item you need to obtain. Currently, the record is 27 hours, 14 minutes, and 32 seconds by one of Undertale and Deltarune's top runners, Shay. If you take a look at the category rules, you'll see that you are allowed to pause the timer to take a break and do whatever you want mid-run for up to 12 hours. While you hypothetically don't even need to take a 1-minute break during the run, you best bet Shay 13 hours in took a break to go to bed, and I don't blame him. Fifth on our list is Xenogears, an RPG from Square released in 1998. You may be seeing a trend here. A lot of RPGs make for hefty speedruns. This game has quite a drastic difference in category times. By messing with game saves, you can finish a run in under 20 minutes on the Japanese version, but the 100% English record clocks in at 29 hours, 49 minutes, and 48 seconds. This run requires defeating all bosses, getting all weapons, ammo, accessories, other items, abilities, and a list of so many other things that I could blab and blab on about. Again, RPGs are not my strong suit, my name is sadly not Dr. Swellman, but all I can say is that a second person has also run this, which took nearly 44 hours. Luckily, this person did sleep for 7 hours in between, and that's definitely a common trend you'll see among these extremely long runs. Now, our next entry is kind of cheating in a way, but I hope you can forgive me for that. For quite a while now, there has been a multiple Mario games leaderboard that has consisted of multiple categories comprised of goals and multiple Mario games back to back. The most notable is Mario 602. Usually done in live races with a ton of people, the 602 is getting 120 stars in Super Mario 64, 120 stars in Super Mario Galaxy, 120 shines in Super Mario Sunshine, and lastly, 242 stars in Super Mario Galaxy 2. After this being a thing for over 5 years, the record is currently 19 hours and 36 minutes by Odme. Following the initial success of the 602, many other multiple Mario runs have been slapped together, with many of them also being race events, and also relays where players form teams and each of them run their strongest game against the other teams. The longest of these categories is the 3D Mario 1862. This requires the original 4 runs from the 602, and then also adds 380 stars in Super Mario 3D World and all moons in Super Mario Odyssey, which has 880. The fastest time between a relay team has been 31 hours and 35 minutes, but in terms of a solo player, that record goes up to 35 hours and 42 minutes. Reading the run's comments, they decided in the middle of a 602 race to turn the run into an 1862 since the run was going really well. Imagine just randomly deciding during an already long run that you'll add another 13 hours of playing onto that. Definitely not the kind of commitment I have. Speaking of commitments, you should commit to liking the video and subscribing if you're enjoying what you're already watching. Anyways, let's take a step towards the even longer runs. I know, there's more. Have you ever wanted to play a card game for 3 days straight? Well, lucky you. Said wish can be done in Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories on the PlayStation. The world record for the 100% no RNG minute category clocks in at 72 hours and 34 minutes. You'll be happy to know the timer to take breaks, and I would do that quite a lot because I personally can't play card games for more than an hour. Clear Strike on its layout is using a checklist program to keep track of every collectible needed throughout the run. While it's not required, it's not a bad idea considering how many items you need to collect over an entire day's worth of gaming. One of the most critical things to note here is the game uses the built-in clock on the GameCube to simulate proper days in the game, which last around as long as a day in real time. Looking at this guide, you'll see that the game time is constantly changed in order to get to the next day in-game. Imagine if you had to properly wait the full day before being able to do anything new. 2 other runners have taken the record in this category over time, with Pants getting a 19-hour 43-minute in April of 2018, but said wish can be done in Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memory. Have you ever wanted to play a card game for 3 days straight? Well, lucky you. Said wish can be done in Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories on the PlayStation. The world record for the 100% no RNG manip category clocks in at 72 hours and 34 minutes. You'll be happy to know that these players are allowed to pause the timer to take breaks, and I would do that quite a lot because I personally can't play card games for more than an hour. This run requires unlocking all possible 689 cards and all duelists in free duel mode. There are 11 people that have submitted no RNG manip runs, with times going as high as 174 hours. Interestingly, there is one person who has submitted a RNG manip time of 201 hours. I thought manipulating RNG would be a lot faster, but whatever. Next we got Gran Turismo 4 on the PlayStation 2. I was not expecting a racing game to be on this list, but here we are. There is one run under the 100% category that adds up to 230 hours, 35 minutes, and 51 seconds. As you may see on the leaderboard, this time is shared between 4 different people. Since Twitch, the world's biggest game streaming platform, somehow still hasn't figured out something as simple as storing videos properly for extended periods of time, we unfortunately only have about 30 minutes of the stream that took place after the run. Even if you assume each player spent an equal amount of time driving, that would still come out to over 57 hours per player. This is basically the virtual equivalent of doing a road trip for 9.5 hours straight. Desert Bus has some new competition. Up next we have Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, which is an enhanced port of the Zelda-themed hack and slash. This is also the newest game in our list today. There is a segmented 100% category on speedrun.com, with the fastest entry being 288 hours. Yes, this is segmented, and that means that players can pause the timer and take as many breaks and sessions as possible. This may not be a speedrun in the true traditional sense, but I still think committing to the documentation of a long game's completion, start to end, is still at the very least fascinating. The world record holder, Evan M. Robb, has an entire playlist for the segmented run, which spans across 84 different videos. If you want an even heftier watch, you can also check the second place's 564-hour time with 100 Twitch VODs. Sadly, I have other things to do. Alright, for anyone who is even half tapped into the speedrun community, you may have been waiting for this one. Batten Kaido's Eternal Wings and the Lost Ocean is a 2003 RPG on the GameCube and has made quite a name for itself in the speedrun scene. You see, its standard new game category is only 11 hours, but if you shift over to the 100% tab, you will notice the record is around a whopping 338 hours, or a bit over 14 days. That may sound scary, but believe it or not, 85% of this run doesn't require gameplay. The length of this run primarily revolves around one item, the shampoo. It takes exactly 2 weeks or 336 hours of gameplay to evolve this into splendid hair. What makes this run a little bit longer is that this evolution pauses whenever you are in menus, and since this is a card-based RPG, frequent menuing is required to do pretty much anything. Luckily, Baffin, I hope I don't butcher that, who's been the most notable runner of the category, has read out the game so you are truly only playing the game for 3 to 4 hours a day. This allows you to pretty much go about the rest of your time as normal, eating, sleeping, eating, this. Just because you don't play during the entire run doesn't mean the category isn't hard though. Besides having to keep this game on for 2 weeks, you also have to be aware of rewards in the game that you can unintentionally skip. Buffon once lost a run 97 hours in due to this. And also, since Twitch is such a consistent and reliable website, Buffon has also previously been temporarily suspended on the site for non-gaming content when he left his game idle one night to sleep. I'm glad that Twitch focuses on the real problems. While he's held the record in the category for nearly 7 years, in January of 2022, -M demolished the record by nearly 50 minutes with a final time of 337 hours and 55 minutes. While Buffon has officially retired from the category, his effort at knocking down the time by over 17 hours over the span of many years will never be forgotten. So, Batten Kaitos is the longest speedrun ever, right? Yes, but on speedrun.com, I believe it or not, was able to find a submitted world record that surprisingly clocks in 190 hours longer at 528 hours, 16 minutes, and 44 seconds. Spider, Ride of the Shrouded Moon is a puzzle-style game released in 2015, and I'll get this out of the way right now, that this is yet another segmented run, but unlike Hyrule Warriors, this is segmented for another reason. This game checks your clock and location to determine whether it should be raining or not in-game, as well as deciding between night or daytime. It also uses this information to gather what phase of the moon cycle you should be in. Normally in-game, there are sections that periodically allow you to swap the weather or time of day in order to get to the next part of the game, but the category No Time Manipulation, well, it doesn't manipulate time. The record holder Snowfats planned the time of year ahead of time and started the game on a waxing crescent moon and ended on a new moon. They have a Google spreadsheet that has this entirely lined out if you're really that curious. Snowfats will tell you straight up this really shouldn't count as the longest run, as these video recordings that add up to this time are simply isolated speedruns of different sections of the game. The rest of the playtime just comes from how much you have to wait in between each session. While it being the longest speedrun isn't really entirely true, I thought it was still interesting as it seems to officially be the longest logged run of any kind on speedrun.com, and I love if you could find a longer one for me. It may be quite hard to do that. So there you go. Some people like runs they can finish no matter what in under 10 minutes. Others may like runs a bit longer that can take a few hours, and then there's the small, extreme crowd that will spend entire days just focusing on one game. While some of these runs may not be as technically impressive as runs
be too simple. You need to deactivate your shovel, activate your hatchet, then right click on the tile the tree is on, and then click chop, and you'll see the action timer to the bottom right. Sometimes one action isn't enough to get the result, and you won't automatically repeat actions. You need to manually click to do it again. Worm Online is really into the whole make the player repeat actions for the sake of repeating actions school of design. After about a minute, the tree is felled, so we now take the log and you move super slowly. Your movement speed is based on how much you are carrying and what surface you're walking on. You can run on paths or going downhill, but once on grass or going uphill, you forget how your legs work and slow to a gentle stroll. I go to drop something on the ground and get a warning box, and now the first lazy bit of design. Text overflowing the box boundaries. Come on, designers. Complex systems may make your game feel bloated, but it's still high quality. But bad visual design, bad layout, that makes it look amateur. Can you steal this sign? No. Well, there go my dreams of being a sign-hoarding baron. And now the combat tutorial. Behold, as I can't find anyone. What? This is the right place. Big sign, combat, sparring grounds, weapon on the floor. There's no one here.
home runs. You gotta get 10 home runs over like 650 feet or some stupid idiot, no good, dehydrated idea that somebody at Nintendo thought of. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get at least one. I don't want to let you down. Let's do it. Our record is 36, and the platinum medal is 80. Perfect. Nice and slow. Nice and easy. Dude, in like normal tennis, I'm cracked. Good. Brilliant. Good. Nice. Patata. She's gonna like beam at me right now for literally no reason at all. Yeah, baby. Good. Two more here. Good. Oh, no. Oh, okay. All right, we're good. Nice. Just return the balls, Erwin. Just return the balls, Erwin. What a return. No. Sick.
I'm not demanding, I'm...
Then didn't even have a name. But what it did have is this bizarre looking controller. I say controller, but to most people it looked more like a TV remote. And you used this remote to swing golf clubs, bowl bowling balls, and hit tennis balls. But while most people watching this reveal were impressed, there was one man who felt a different emotion: worry. Meet 34-year-old Gordon Jackson, a marketing manager for a company in Cambridge, UK. His face isn't publicly available, so I'll be using someone else's face. Now, while this new Wii console certainly had a lot to offer, Gordon saw a flaw in Nintendo's plans: the controller. As he put it, I was really getting excited about the launch of the Wii, but it was quite clear that once people started getting into the games, things were going to go haywire. The funny thing is, Gordon was a big fan of Nintendo's games, but it was these very games that he thought would lead to issues. Nintendo makes some pretty absorbing games, so I was convinced problems might happen. Not one to sit back and ignore his concerns, Gordon Jackson decided to register a web address and start a blog, www.wiidamage.com. A few days later, he wrote his first post. The Nintendo Wii, launched in the US on 19th of November 2006, has not only been intriguing seasoned gamers, but is drawing a new crowd. Sounds like a lot of fun, and clearly this is going to bring in new gamers. But what about the potential missile you'll be holding, the Wii Remote? Here's where the Nintendo inspiration kicks in. Their solution? A wrist strap to stop said missile from leaving your sweaty paw. Provided Wii gamers comply with the above instructions and don't A. hit their opponent, B. hit the stuff in their living room, and C. the strap doesn't break if the Wiimote slips, everything's gonna be just fine. Let's watch and see, shall we? So, that was Gordon Jackson's prediction. There would be damage caused by these new remotes. Was he right? Well, within a few days of the Wii's launch, his website suddenly began bringing in tens of thousands of visitors on a daily basis. People from all around the world began sending in their horror stories of destroying their televisions. The first of these stories, funnily enough, came not from the general public, but instead from a member of the press. As Gordon noted, what might look to you like a boring beige section of wall is actually something much more significant. This is the first piece of Nintendo Wii-induced wall damage. During a particularly energetic game of tennis, the remote slipped, the strap broke, and the Wiimote cum projectile came to an abrupt halt on the review room wall. We're going to have to keep an eye on these wrist straps. Now, this was from before the Wii launched, so you can imagine what happened post-launch. John, Michaela, and Bill all smashed their TVs mere days after getting their hands on the console, and this was just the start of it. Before long, a concerning pattern began to emerge. Check this out. Brandon, Eric, Aaron, Alric, Dan, Bill, Ryan, Clint, Andrew. All of these people's Wiimote problems were caused by a broken wrist strap. It was starting to look like maybe something was going wrong here. Wrist straps were breaking left, right, and center, and Nintendo needed to do something, and soon. They quickly put out a statement, quote, "We are aware some customers have been playing the Wii more energetically than we may have anticipated. We have been monitoring the situation, and if needed, we will make any improvements necessary." Not only that, but every customer who had bought the console was sent an email which advised, hold the remote securely and avoid excessive motion during gameplay. If your hands become moist, stop and dry your hands. Well, there we go, problem solved. It must be that everyone just had gross, sweaty hands. Dry them off and the problem would go away. Who could complain now? December 6th, 2006. Outside the Washington District Court, 3 legal firms had agreed to meet. One from San Francisco, one from Austin, and one from Seattle. Their aim? To take down the Wii Remote once and for all. Together, they submitted the following lawsuit against Nintendo. The controller is an essential component of any video game console, and so plaintiff is unable to use the Nintendo Wii for its intended purposes as a result of the broken wristband. Accordingly, it renders the Wii console, which retails in the United States for $250, useless. 9 days later, Nintendo made their move. They would offer to replace every customer's Wii Remote strap with a new, stronger one. That's 3.2 million new straps. Now, this new strong strap would be double as thick as the original one, and this replacement was expected to cost Nintendo millions of dollars. It wasn't just pre-existing consoles though. Every new Wii came with the strong straps included. So, by replacing the old straps, Nintendo were admitting the original ones weren't good enough, right? No. Nintendo said again and again that this was not a recall. The current wrist strap was, quote, perfectly safe and has passed all the required safety tests. And apparently there was, quote, absolutely nothing wrong. But what about the lawsuit? Well, here's what Nintendo had to say. We believe the lawsuit to be completely without merit. Well, they would. So, what happened next? Well, for 2 years, basically nothing. The case faded into obscurity. No new headlines appeared about Nintendo's faulty straps. In other words, just what Nintendo wanted. The world was forgetting. But behind the scenes, the battle was still dragging on in court. Until October 2008, that is. Because that is when Nintendo decided to settle the case. In other words, the lawsuit was dropped and an agreement was reached between Nintendo and the plaintiff. This likely involved a fairly large sum of money paid by Nintendo. When the former plaintiff John Leonard was reached for comment, he told gaming magazine GameSite, "All I can legally say is that it was resolved amicably." While this battle was going on, by the way, Nintendo changed their Wii Remote straps another time. Look at the difference between these two attachments. The old one is just some kind of band, but this new one has a lock-in mechanism. So, with the third revision to the straps created, and the lawsuit settled, it might seem like Nintendo's problems were finally over. But that is when they were hit with another lawsuit.
Objection!
So the plaintiff this time was a woman named Molly Elvig, represented by the same set of lawyers who sued Nintendo back in 2006. What was the problem this time? Well, I talked about how Nintendo had put out 3 revisions to the Wiimote strap, right? The thin one, the thick one, and the lock-on one. Well, this lawsuit claimed that all 3 straps were defective and would break if you used any kind of force. The exact type of force you might use playing, for instance, tennis on your Wii. Oh dear. That's not all the lawsuit claimed though. There was also talk of false advertising. Apparently, Nintendo's adverts were telling people to thrash the Wiimote as hard as possible, but the remote itself wasn't actually designed for this. It would break. Plus, according to Elvig's lawyers, Nintendo were going out of its way to cover up the claims of faulty hardware. Apparently, if people reported issues with the first strap or the second version, then Nintendo would note it down and report it. But if the issue was with strap 3, the newest one, then Nintendo would pretend that nothing would happen. They wouldn't report it. It was all an elaborate cover-up, the lawsuit alleged. These were serious claims. And for 2 more years, this legal battle continued in court. It all finally came to an end in December 2010 though. Who won? That's a pretty important question, right? Well, I had to do a lot of digging to find that out. Unlike a lot of the previous events, this lawsuit was hardly reported on at all. So I had to dig up and read through the legal documents myself. Let me read you a few quotes. Ms. Elvig has failed to submit, much less direct the court to any evidentiary material establishing the facts that she asserts. Once again, Ms. Elvig's failure to come forward with evidence to support her factual assertions is fatal to this claim. Blah 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 blah. For the foregoing reasons, Nintendo's motion for summary judgment is granted. The clerk of the court shall enter judgment in favour of Nintendo on all of Ms. Elvig's claims. So, in other words, Molly Elvig and her legal team kinda screwed up, or at least put forward a really shoddy looking lawsuit. It seems as though they gave almost zero evidence for any of the things they were claiming, or at least no evidence that was good enough for a court of law. So regardless of whether her claims were actually accurate, she couldn't back any of them up, and in December of 2010, the lawsuit was dismissed by the judge, and Nintendo were free. Now, was there actually an issue with those third straps? It seems unlikely. After this lock-in design was launched, the number of complaints rapidly dried up. Of course, stories of Wiimote smashings are not unheard of to this day, but they are rare at best. It turned out the solution to the broken wrist strap crisis was just making the wrist straps a little stronger. Often the simple solutions are the best ones. I don't think Nintendo will be quick to forget this disastrous blip on the Wii's launch, but I suppose it's a sort of cautionary tale to both Nintendo and us players. For Nintendo, make sure to test your controllers under all conditions. And for us, don't play Wii Sports with gross, sweaty, moist hands, you idiots. Hey, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more videos like this, because I'm making videos like this weekly, so you don't want to miss them. And I'll see you next week. Bye!
Right, so, in the last In a Nutshell video about Apple stores, I saw a good number of comments showing that a lot of people had either never been in an Apple store before, or the country/city that they lived in simply didn't have any Apple stores. So this time around, I did market research. Costco have around 804 stores across 12 countries, 558 in the United States, 103 in Canada, 39 in Mexico, 29 in the UK, 27 in Japan, 16 in South Korea, 14 in Taiwan, 13 in Australia, 4 in Spain, 2 in France, 1 in Iceland, and 1 in China. So if you don't happen to live in any of these places, or you simply have never visited Costco before, don't you worry. This will be a learning experience. I shall enlighten you, young child. Come forth. Take my corporate hand. So put simply, Costco is a large American wholesale store chain. They're pretty much just big warehouses stocked with products in bulk for businesses. Here's the logo, here's the store, here's a video of a man walking around the store very, very fast, and we're up to date. Perfect. And for any of you wise guys out there that are sat there saying, oh, Joe makes videos on the weirdest subjects ever. First Crocs, now Costco. Well, anyways, the first thing you've got to know about Costco is that it's a members-only club. You have to either be a member or be with a member to actually buy things in the store. Now, it's not like it's an exclusive club or anything. I mean, Costco's not exactly hard to get into. I mean, it's barely Fort Knox. You just have to simply go up to the desk and apply for your Costco card, which as far as cards go, is arguably cooler than an American Express Black card or a PSA 10 Pokemon card. You sign up, pay a membership fee, and you're in. But of course, you need a photo. Now, this isn't just a Costco thing, but those tiny little desk cameras they use to take photos for membership cards are always awful, like negative 3 megapixel bad. You end up looking like some wanted drug cartel member from the 70s. I'm convinced the camera they use to take membership card photos with is the exact same camera that took all of those alleged photos of Bigfoot or any UFO sighting ever. I mean, the photos from those things are so bad, I'm pretty sure that the Costco worker behind the desk could probably do a more accurate rendition of your face using just a crayon. They even have a security guard that is paid to stand at the front of Costco and check your membership card to make sure that you match the photo on it. How they even validate that, I have no fucking idea. They might as well just be staring at an ink blot.
Tell me what you see.
Fuck knows, mate, it's a fucking... Anyway, once you have your ugly ass photo sorted, you are now a certified Costco member and are free to enter the store floor. Now, in most Costcos, technology seems to be the first area. So you have your phones, your cameras, your microwaves, standard. But then, you see them. Those huge ass 100-inch 12K TVs with OLED, LCD, OCD, ADHD, AC/DC screens for like 10 grand. You know what I mean. Those TVs where the quality is so insane and the colours are so vivid, you start to think, is this shit better than my eyesight? Like, you look at the TV for a few seconds and then everything around you just looks low quality. It makes you rethink your entire existence, like your eyes were set to 480p quality for your whole life. So if you ever do manage to make it out of the TV trance, you can enter the main store, a metropolis of perfectly packaged products, thousands of identically arranged items in huge bulk pallets and shelves towered up to the ceilings. Costco has everything you can think of, from coffee refills to wine to rotisserie chicken. Costco has the most random shit. You wander off on an adventure down an aisle and you find something new in a batch of 1,000. Costco is so big and open and full of shit that it feels like you've broken into someone's storage warehouse. You know, in most stores how you'll go up and ask a worker if they've got a product in stock and they'll go, oh yeah, let me just go and check in the back. Motherfucker, you are already in the back. In fact, the Costco staff ask you where items are because they don't even know themselves. I'm convinced some of the people I see shopping around Costco have been in there for 10 years and they just don't know the way out. The place is so full to the brim with pure stuff that whenever you turn your head away, it feels like a new thing just spawns. It's not just loads of smaller items either. Costco have these big expensive show floor items, from sofas to hot tubs to full-blown kids' playgrounds. Now, I used to be so confused as a kid because when I'd see these things, I used to think to myself, okay, so say you bought it, how are they supposed to take that to your car? And of course, obviously, I know that's not the case now. They don't do that. They mail it instead. And sometimes there's just one singular super weird item. 14-foot animatronic bear statue for £16,000. Why is that there? Who knows? It's costly. It makes perfect sense. It's like walking through your nan's attic or a very, very large pawn shop.
Best I could do is maybe a $19 portrait card.
I mean, I don't even know where these things come from. Maybe somebody was just desperate to get rid of the product and just walked it into Costco and stuck a price tag on it. Costco also have these huge fridges too that I'm convinced have more landmass than all of Antarctica, with frozen fish to ice cream. And don't even get me started on free samples. You have these lovely people dotted all around the store that hand out free food and drink samples of various products. I used to plan out routes in my head of how I could navigate around the store to hit each one in a chain, and then I'd see how many times I could repeat said chain until they finally clocked on and refused to give me free samples. One brisk stroll around Costco and you've got enough free samples to have a full-blown 3-course meal. It's like they reward you food just for being in the store, but I'd be a fool if I mentioned food in relation to Costco and didn't mention the Costco food court, the iconic menu. Now, when it comes to this glorious location, with Costco being American, we all know that America likes to take things and just make them bigger. Big buildings, big cars, big people, and that rule applies to Costco food. Huge hot dogs, the length of 2 hot dogs, but in one massive hot dog. Gigantic pizzas that look like some sort of shit out of the Guinness Book of World Records. Pizzas so big that one singular slice could feed a small village for a week. And the smoothies that taste like the Costco workers have gone in the back of the kitchen, walked into a freshly grown orchard, handpicked the fruit for you, and crushed it with the foot of an elephant just for your drinking pleasure. The food court is placed right at the end of the store too, rewarding you for making it through the labyrinth that is Costco. The gods have rewarded you with a hearty meal. By far one of my favourite places on planet Earth, a trip to Costco is always a treat. I only have fond memories of the place. And with all of that selection, endless choice, take as much as you need, stock up in bulk, I always end up leaving with one singular rotisserie chicken and a houseplant. No, this video is not sponsored. I'm a fully grown man talking about Costco for the whole video. And just quickly guys, I'm going travelling soon, so there might not be a video for a month or two, and I want to put some focus towards some larger video projects. But trust me, when I get back, there are some very big plans. I don't really like plugging shit on videos, but for anybody that doesn't know, Twitter is where I post most of the shit that's going on, and very funny memes. There is a wasp in my PC. There's a Discord server that you can join, and I've recently been streaming a lot more on Twitch, so if you guys want to come and hang in some chill streams, that'd be wicked. Stay tuned, gamers. And with all of that said, goodbye! Steam. Valve's big 2003 release, which for any regular viewers of the channel, is just a few years before you were born. By far the biggest gaming distribution platform for PC players around the world, with 120 million monthly users, Steam is home to thousands of different games, some of which are played by hundreds of thousands of players every single day. Titles like CSGO, Dota 2, Rust, and GTA 5, all just in the top 10. There's a game for everyone on Steam, as long as they're not 5-minute craft.
It's been a weird year, folks. I've made some weird videos. I shot a baby. Measles! Mumps! Maybe we should end 2020 on a wholesome note. What do you say? Oh my god! That's the most awful thing I've ever done. So I was having a Friendsgiving meal with my friend Zyla Foxland. She's what you would call a boat girl. She's kind of like a horse girl, only instead of horses, it's boats. Anyways, I bought one of those electric carving knives and this happened. Alan, I'm sorry. It's just... it's sort of cutting. See, yeah, see, it can cut. It's not my fault, okay? That is unacceptable. It is the year of our Lord 2020. We live in the future, and in the future, people have vibroblades. You know, those sci-fi swords or knives or even axes that vibrate so fast that they can cut through anything like butter. And it's not even that unrealistic. In real life, we have ultrasonic cutters. They have blades that vibrate at least 20,000 times per second, and they're used in industry to cut things like plastic, pastries, and they actually can cut through steel like butter, but they're incredibly complicated and expensive. Now, the only guy that I know of who has made a real-life ultrasonic blade goes by the name This Old Tony on YouTube, and if you haven't heard of him, make sure you check him out. He does a lot of cool metalworking stuff, machining, welding, which is even more impressive considering he was born without a body. That's right, he's actually just a pair of hands. And wouldn't you know it, me and him and a bunch of other maker YouTubers are having a Maker Secret Santa. And that's why I'm in this Harbor Freight right now, because we're only allowed to spend $75 on our gifts. So let's see if I can make a sci-fi weapon for this old Tony that costs the same as 15 pumpkin spice lattes. A pneumatic air hammer only costs $13? I truly do not understand how this store works. They might as well give it away for free.
Now the sword is definitely free because it's left over from when I tested to see if a White Walker could actually break a steel sword. And my buddy Rob is doing all the metalworking for me because he's a huge fan of this old Tony. What a sucker. Seriously though, Rob's channel's in the description. You're welcome, Rob. Happy holidays. An air hammer is not the fastest tool, 4,500 beats per minute, but it is powerful, and we're gonna need that power to be able to move an entire sword blade.
Are you gonna cut the box? That's why you need the handle. It's like a cake. My God. I don't know, let's see what happens, I guess, right? You just pull the trigger. And then, oh my God. Oh no.
Did you run out of gas?
Yes, the flow, this thing takes so much air. Look, you can see the dial. As soon as I pull the trigger, oh, ooh. Wait, this thing here, is this a suspicious thing that's happening? Sorry.
No, you're trying to
I'm messing up your shot.
First thoughts.
Well, no, it definitely doesn't cut very good at all. Honestly, this thing's probably better at stabbing than cutting. Because the sort of the air hammer motion is going that way. I'm gonna stab for a fatter part of this thing. That's someone's fence. You can't just be knocking gourds into people's fences. You're picking that all up. I hope you know that. Oh. In this scenario, In this scenario, the guy is already lying on the ground, and this is just the coup de grace, right? Let me see if I can stab this guy here. So like. Well, that's the most awful thing I've ever done. That sort of air hammer effect. It is definitely doing something, if only just stabbing and not for cutting, really. The blade might be better if it was like serrated for that kind of. Yeah. The sword just doesn't cut, you know, the way that I wanted it to. And I just wanted to impress this old Tony with my friend's welding skills. I should have put water in that. Tony's the one that's a skookum, right? At this point, I'm gonna have to make him a new gift, but there's no way I have time to do that. I mean, I'm gonna need a Christmas miracle. Oh, it couldn't be that simple. Oh! Oh no! Oh, I don't like how the sound is changing. It really should just be one sound. It shouldn't be a sound that turns into a different sound. My oscillating multi-tool tops out at about 300 strokes per second, which is more than twice as fast as an air hammer, but still about 100 times slower than an actual ultrasonic blade. Of course, you get what you pay for, and honestly, this thing still looks more like the Mandalorian's vibroblade than an actual ultrasonic blade does. We've got a lovely test meal here, and remember, the vibroblade goes on the right side of the... It vibrates a lot, Jesus. Our first course is bread. Now, bread, normally you take a knife to it and you push down, and it kind of does this really sad, kind of squishy thing. Okay, here, oh God, oh, all right, it's straightened out. Straighten out. Let's see if we can cut a slice of bread off for ourselves. Oh! That actually, when you just push it in and it just goes in. You just don't even have to put any weight. Look at this. Look at this. I can move the bread into the blade and it just goes right through. That's actually. Honestly, I could probably sell this on late night television, an infomercial. This is actually great. Now, this is the serrated version. I did also make a smooth version, smooth brain version. So I'm gonna just see if the smooth knife does anything. If this one works, it's gonna be a lot more similar to actual sonic blades than the serrated one. The serrated one's really more like a saw, but it'll get the job done. But I'm kind of wondering if the, oh God, okay, hold on. I need to see if this will shake first really badly. Oh. Oh, you know, that's acceptable. Ooh! That looks pretty good too. Once it gets in, Alright, so it kind of has a hard time, but once it gets in, once it kind of finds purchase, and it goes right through. I mean, that's pretty cool. Alright, this is Redemption. We got a piece of ham. I'm assuming that this is basically nature's ballistics gel, so let's see what this thing can do. Oh, I'll never get used to that. That's just, oh, wow! Oh, God. Look at that, though. Wait, can I? Oh my God. I kind of want to see if I can do curves. Oh, I can do curves. I'm going to use this piece of foam instead of the plate because the plate is about to explode, I'm pretty sure. Let's see, I want to see how thin of a slice I can make with this thing. It's just all in the fine muscle control. Oh, that's pretty thin. That's pretty thin. That's not bad. Check that out. I mean, it's still a little thick, but it's also kind of thin. Honestly, dude, I bet this would just work. Wait. I bet I could do shapes. I bet I could do shapes in this. Hold on. Let me just, okay, just gotta not cut myself. Here we go. It's tough to get it started, but once it gets started. Are you seeing this? You know what a pain in the ass it can be sometimes to cut EVA foam? Look at that! Look, if there was conventions right now, I could make like a sweet, like Din Djarin, Mandalorian cosplay armor right now. Dude! I don't know why when I try and make things that are useful, they end up useless, and then when I try and make things that are useless, they're actually kind of useful. It did it! Ooh, it was very loud and awful, and also that's like a pretty clean cut, all things considered. You could not do that with a knife that was not vibrating, right? Like if this knife was not shaking 10,000 times a minute, you could not, it just wouldn't happen. I could cut stuff all day. I know that because I did cut stuff all day.
And yes, the blades did get really dull, but I made a fresh pair to send to this old Tony.
But we gotta move on to dessert. Let me just get in and clear this table off really quick. Ho, ho, ho! My Secret Santa turned out to be Kids Invent Stuff.
And they're actually the ones who organized this whole Secret Santa. If you don't know them, they're a smaller channel that takes kids' invention ideas and builds them in real life. It's a hoot and a half, so make sure you check them out.
And they've sent me a very, very big box. This is very exciting. It's not Legos. Oh, easy. Easy does it. Yeah. Hashtag YouTube Maker Secret Santa. Very good branding. Very good. This is the where the idea came from. Zach, age 6, and it's a hat that feeds you cheese. I'm wondering what could be in this one, seeing as how the first one kind of spilled the beans. I hope it's money. Oh, this is like the instruction manual. RTFM. Yeah. The Make Alan Great Again hat. Oh my God. It's really more of a helmet than I have. There's a helmet on the inside. It does feel very patriotic. Okay. So now, I just need to read the instructions and figure out what I'm doing with this thing. It's a little tight on the neck. Oh boy. I sure love freedom and America. Nothing like sitting on the couch, watching the game with a plate of nachos. Nothing more American than nachos. Unfortunately, these nachos are all gross and plain. Here we go. Oh, God bless America. Oh, it's shaking on my head. There was already cheese in there from before. Oh,
Okay, but you know what? Being part of America also means trying to have good habits. So let's get a little shredded lettuce onto this bad boy. Yeah. Oh, it doesn't like the, no, it doesn't like the lettuce. No, okay, you know what? The lettuce, no, there's nothing more American than not eating lettuce, I've just realized. Hooray! For freedom, for cheese, and for and for this plate of nachos, which I think is very, very symbolic of the state of our country right now. But thank you guys. That was it.